Welcome back to the PeriodGiving Podcast. Today, we are digging into what it really takes to rally a community around period giving. Because giving pads isn't just about hygiene, it's about dignity, justice, and showing up for girls in a powerful and practical way. From the silent champions handing out pads in backrooms to the bold community leaders like Mali, who we have here on the podcast, making menstrual health a public priority. This episode is a love letter to the collective. So, we are going to have conversations around how do we shift mindsets, build momentum, turn the hush topics into a loud and proud movement. So we will talk about community magic, feminist giving, and the everyday people who are quietly and radically changing the game. Let's get into episode 3, community and periods. This is season 1, how to period give. Let's learn together, laugh a little, and disrupt a whole lot. I have an amazing guest all the way from Zambia. And this lady is powerful. She is part of one of the biggest generosity movement in the world. That is GivingTuesday. And I'm proud to be a leader together with her. And we are going to talk about community, generosity, and feminist giving in menstrual justice. Mali, welcome to the Period Giving Collective podcast. And she is one of the founding members of this collective. And we're just going to hear from her how she's been rallying her community towards period giving. Mali, I think I have introduced a little bit about yourself, but you can tell the audience, you can tell our listeners more about who Mali is and what you do and how you are period giving. But of course, don't say too much about period giving because we're going to have a conversation around that. So Mali, please tell us a little.
Well, thank you so much, Liz, for having me today. I'm excited. I've been looking forward to just have this discussion with you. Well, like Liz has introduced me, my name is Malingose. You can call me Mali. I'm from Lusaka, Zambia, the country lead for GivingTuesday Zambia and the CEO for Shining Future Zambia. So what does Mali do? I run an organization called Shining Future Zambia that helps orphans and vulnerable children, the elderly people in our society, and also just the communities. So we take water to vulnerable communities, and we help the elderly people with food hampers and help the young people with school supplies. Also, a girl child is on our heart. We want to make sure that a girl child is in school at all time and they do not miss any lesson. They have school, whether they have their periods or not, they should attend school. Periods should not be an excuse. So we are trying to end period poverty for our young girls in the vulnerable communities.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it always warms my heart to have conversation with fellow period activists and people that love to make sure that no girl is left behind because of her periods.
Yeah.
And it should not be a period should be at the end of a sentence, not at the end of a child's education. So let's get into the heart of it. What does period giving really mean beyond handing out pads?
Okay. So period giving is not just about handing out pads, like Liza has already mentioned it. Period giving is about educating the girl child on how they should take care of themselves, and that the community members should come through for the girl child. So most people think that when you just hand out pads, then maybe you have done justice and maybe kindness. No, but then we need to educate these young people. We need to hand out the pads, but then educate them. And just do it because it is a necessity. They need to have these pads, because if they don't have, then We're going to have girls who cannot speak out for themselves because the girls who cannot go out, girls who will not be educated. But then if they're empowered, they have the materials they need, they have the pads and the education that they need, then we are building a future for these young people.
Thank you so much. I like that you talk about it not just being about parts, but also looking at the fact that it's all about the future of these young girls and removing those obstacles that may impede or probably create barriers for them to be their very best versions. And you highlighting that it's just not kindness, it's just not about justice, but it's about um, the spirit of Ubuntu, what we call what would call,
Exactly.
yes, and saying that all of us need to get somewhere without leaving anyone behind. And I love that, Mali. So that leads us to this to the second question that I would really love to know. You know,
Mm,
every movement and you being part of the Period Giving Collective move, which is a growing global
exactly.
movement. Yes. Every
Mm,
movement needs its hype team. And I'd be curious to know who are the unexpected heroes quietly keeping girls in school one part at a time. You know, we see you, the aunties, the teachers, the border riders, the local shopkeepers. You can tell us who are those people that you're working with in your community as you are leading these drives. I know that you're doing a period giving campaign, one that is about ending period poverty. Who are those people that are rallying behind this cause that usually don't make it to these podcasts?
mm,
But of course, we're going to have conversations with these people very soon, and I look forward to those. But for now, who are those people that you're working with on the ground? These grassroots leaders. I know that you're among them, but who are those people you're working with,
mm.
and
Yeah.
how are you working with them?
Okay. Exactly. Thank you so much for that question. We have this time around, it's very interesting because I have young guys coming up. I have young girls
Wow.
coming up. I have a number of people in the community asking about this ending period poverty campaign. And just today alone, we received about 200 pads, 200 reusable pads
Oh
from
wow.
just a lady in the community who had just seen the poster, and they're saying, you know what, we really want to be part of this. But what has really impressed me this time around is the young people. Just they're the ones who are pushing the campaign. They're the ones who are doing the posters. And when somebody says, okay, I'm going to buy maybe a packet of pads, and maybe I'm going to do this, it's the young people from the community that have just taken this up, and they're just saying, you know what, we're going to do this. They're making posters, and the message that is coming, they will put a picture of the pad that's given and the message down, talking about period poverty and ending period poverty. So
Yeah.
right now, in my team, I have the youth. They're the ones that are pushing and running with this campaign. If the boys are also running out with this campaign. I have a young boy who turned 18, and he's telling me he's going to buy 18 boxes of pads to just go and distribute in the community. And they're saying, you know what, we need to take care of these girls. We need these girls to be educated. We need these girls to be in school. And for me, that was it actually somehow touched my heart, and I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I mean, this is a young boy, and then he's just saying, you know what, it's my 18th birthday, and to
Oh
celebrate
wow.
my 18th birthday, I'm going to buy 18 boxes of pads that we're going to give to the vulnerable girls. Today alone, again, I had a young girl who just turned 16, and she has bought 16 boxes of pads to
Yeah.
just go and give to those that cannot afford, those that are vulnerable. And then also, I have young people who are making we're making about 900 reusable pads that we're going to that are going to be distributed in the vulnerable communities. So I'm actually very, very happy and excited to see young people coming on board. It's something that I did not expect. And
Yeah.
now we can talk about periods. Some time back, it was even just mentioning the word period was a taboo in
Yeah.
our African setup. Was a taboo. You couldn't talk about it. You find that maybe when a girl is on her periods, she'll have to stay maybe the whole 3 days, the whole 1 week in the house. But then now it's something that people are talking about, something that
Yeah.
we can easily just mention period, and people will not feel like, oh my God, what is she saying? She's not supposed to say this. And the other interesting bit is that since we're working in the rural areas, I also have the community leaders, the headmen, the chiefs are also coming on board with this campaign, and they're talking about it. They're saying, you need to come in the rural areas and educate our girls on how they can be using the reusable pads. And they're saying, you know what, we are behind you, we are backing you on this campaign. So for me, it's something that is exciting my heart, because these are people, like, you cannot go to a traditional leader and talk about periods. Yeah, but now they're the ones who are coming out because they've seen the importance they've seen the importance of the young girls. They've seen that, they because imagine a young girl messes up themselves. Sometimes it can be a trauma for the rest of their life, the shame. But then now they're saying, you know what, we need to end this. We need to end the period poverty. And we are backing you, we are coming on board to just see what we can do and how we can help you. And we are going to pave the way for you to come into the community and do what you can to just talk to these young girls about how they can be using some of these reusable pads, how they can keep themselves, and which is for me, it's a plus.
Yeah.
We are going somewhere. Yeah, we're coming out from those harsh traditional, where you can't really mention periods, because
Yeah.
you can't talk about it. But then now it's like it's open. Yeah, it's like people have just realized that, you know what, we cannot keep quiet. We need to talk about this. We need to help our young people. Yeah.
And that. Thank you so much, Mali, for sharing that. And as you were speaking, I actually did want to ask you more about that. You've talked about this conversation period being more for a very
Mm.
long time being a taboo, a hush topic. You whisper about this, you don't speak
Yeah.
boldly and loudly about it. And now you've mentioned that you're having
Yeah.
community chiefs, the local leaders being at the forefront
Yeah.
of this conversation. And I'd really like to be interested, and I'm very sure that other listeners would be interested to learn, those that are driving change, especially at the grassroots, that involve these local leaders. We know that the
Yeah.
social cultural norms have a big part that they play at times in these myths and misconceptions around menstruation and
Mm.
periods. And most of the people and most of the gatekeepers of these would be, our elders in the communities, the
Yeah.
leaders in the communities that gatekeep these misconceptions and myths. And I'm wondering, would you share how someone could foster community
Mhm.
ownership, especially around this conversation? How do you get there to have a community leader lead this conversation? How do you get to the point in your community that you're having a chief, you're having the elders talk about this, rally behind girls, having access to these materials, having access to information of periods? So how did
Yeah,
you
exactly.
to have them be part of this campaign, be part of this cause?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. You know what I've realized that is that the most important thing is that when you go in the community, the community has to be part of whatever project that you take to them, and they have we like I was we were doing boreholes in rural communities, and
Yeah.
where we sat down with some of the community leaders. We're telling them, okay, we have this campaign, and they're saying, you know what, this is where the community is not involved. The community has whatever project you do in the community. you need to have the community leaders involved. So when we told them about the water, and they said, you know what, this is perfect because you're bringing water for us. So this is also a part of, where yeah, and you're going to you're bringing water, and then you're talking about bringing pads, and also the reusable pads that the girls are going to have. They said this is very good because with the water it will go hand in hand with the menstrual hygiene. So you
Mm.
bring this, you bring the water, you talk about the menstrual healthy, and you just train the girls on how they can wash these reusable pads and how they can clean themselves up. And they said, you know what, this is something that we are excited about because we want to see our community developing. So we don't want all the time that the girls are lagging behind and the boys are the ones in the forefront. Because what was happening in the past is that sometimes girls would even stop going to school because of periods, and it will be the end, they'll not go back to school. But
Yeah.
then now they're saying, you know what, this is good, and we are running behind you. We are running behind it because we want to make sure that the girl child is in school. Because there's a saying that when you educate a girl child, then you educate the whole community. So
Yeah.
they're saying we need more girls to be educated. We need more girls to be empowered. We don't want girls to stop coming to school because of periods, because they don't have pads, because they cannot be so because of shame, maybe they've messed themselves up. So we want to make sure that the girl child is educated. So what the most important thing is that whatever project you have, make sure that the community leaders and the community is involved. Like that, then you work well with the community. So that's what we have done, and I think it's working well for us, involving the community.
Thank you so much, Mali. Thank you for highlighting a very critical issue of having to co-create or program or co-design these programs with the community. Most times the communities are usually the recipients of these programs. They have no say, no contribution. They just find themselves in a particular program. But you highlighting the importance of co-creation and its role in community ownership. Thank you so much for highlighting that. I think that everyone gets to know how critical that is. And Mali, I would like to know,
Yeah.
what does a truly feminist act of giving look like in a world that still sees pads as charity and not necessity? How do we shift from that mindset?
Okay. Exactly. And I think the world is shifting now. They know that like having a girl child having a pad is a necessity. It's not just about giving. No, it's not just about charity. Like you're giving a pad, it's a charity. No, but it is something that a girl. It's more like, for me, I can say it's one of the basic needs that a girl child should have. So we need to make sure that we do whatever possible we can to help these young people have these materials that they need to have. It's a basic need that they should have. So, and I've seen a lot of people have now realized it. A long time ago, if you used to see, there was nothing, like people were not even talking about period giving. But now you can see that everywhere, almost every country, every community is talking about period giving, because they have realized that this is very, very important, and a girl child have should make sure that they have these materials every month, so that they are not so that they're not put to shame, so that they are not that they don't withdraw from certain activities of the communities. So it is a necessity, and I think a lot of feminists, even other people, have realized that this is a must-have for a girl, for a girl child. Should be one of the basic needs that a girl child needs.
Thank you so much. And just highlighting one of the statements you said, for the longest time we've had statements like, if you educate a girl child, then you. you empower community, you empower the world. So I want us to go into something a little bit dramatic, you know. Um, maybe breathe
Yeah.
in, breathe out, and paint us a picture.
Ah. Mhm.
Paint us a picture. If your community, through a period giving
Mhm.
celebration, what would it look like? Would it look like dancing? Would it look like a DIY pad making activity or booths? You know, we want the whole vision. How would that look like?
So interesting enough, that question that you've just brought. So in the next 2 weeks, we are actually planning in my community where I live in Obama, Lusaka, the
Nice.
youth of Obama, Lusaka, and Giving Tuesday, Shining Future Zambia youths are actually planning a big campaign of where they just want to march with plaques saying stop period poverty, and where they're even they'll have after that we're going to have a booth where they'll be giving
Nice.
the young people are going to be giving out pads to the vulnerable young girls in our community for free. And I'm just trying to see how this is going to look. They're going to march around the community, and I think it will be the first in I don't think it has ever happened. People will go and march in the main roads. Maybe they'll say from showgrounds to where, but then this is going to be localized. This is going to be done in our community,
I
and it's the
love it.
children within our community, the youths within our community that are going to do it. So we are so excited. Tomorrow we have a planning meeting with the
How do I get
community, and
a
the
bicycle
youths
to your
themselves are so
community?
excited because they're gonna go. Pardon?
How do I get a bicycle to your community? How do I get a bus? I wanted to
How do
ride
I,
there.
a
How do I
bus?
get a bicycle there
You have
so
to
that I
write
can
it, please,
ride
please, please. I know, right? I know, right? I'm
there?
actually, I'm excited because I am excited. It's going to be fun. They're organizing, we're going to have some entertainment, there'll be drama, they're
Yeah,
going to talk about, there'll be poetry. They're organizing a lot of different things. And then also, uh, um, apart from, apart from just talking about period giving, some of the young people are also going to show their talent. Those
yeah.
who do art are going to be drawing and just, showing people that yes, we can do this as much as we are doing. So it's actually, we're actually very excited. We don't know how it's gonna look like, but we are excited to see what's going to come of it, and we cannot wait to share videos and photos of the event.
I mean, sharing
So
beauty
actually,
to the world.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that question, because we are actually planning a march, and we're actually trying to say, the youth were telling me maybe it's going to be a mini carnival around the community, and where, you're taught with this plaque saying stop period poverty,
Yeah.
keeping girls in school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
amazing.
so we are,
I mean, you've
yeah,
outdone yourself, We wanted the whole vision, you've given us the whole I don't even wow. It is beautiful. I can only imagine
yeah,
that in your
yeah,
community. I'm already feeling the FOMO. I'm really feeling it. But anyway, I
yeah,
believe that we will have something massive, something big. And thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
So, if you would want, if you would want someone to follow the work that you're doing, to follow this campaign that you're leading, to amplify it,
yeah,
to contribute to it, how can they reach you?
yes.
How can they support you?
Oh, okay. So they can find, we're on Facebook. They can go to the Giving Tuesday Zambia page. They can go to Shining. They can just search for Shining Future Zambia page on Facebook, and we'll be there. They'll see that we've started running the campaign actually on our pages on Facebook.
Okay, that's amazing. And please, you can share with us your LinkedIn profile name, your social media as well. So if someone wants to connect with you, get get more experiences from you, learn from you directly, Mali. How can they reach you?
So on Facebook, I'm Malingose Sakala Chipeta. On LinkedIn, I'm Malingose Sakala. Yeah.
All right. And that's it for today's episode of Period Giving, where we celebrate generosity as a tool for justice. If you loved this episode, share it with someone doing quite powerful work in your community, just like Mali. Tag us at Period Giving and use the hashtag Period Giving to keep the conversation going. And remember, giving is powerful, giving is political, giving is personal, and in this movement, giving is how we win. So, catch you next time. Thank you so much for joining this episode, and let's hear from you. Thank you.